Hi guys, welcome back to Charlie and me. As you see, we're in the house. It's another one of these videos requested by you. Well, Damien Malloy was on. Actually, just check, was it Damien that asked this question? Hang on a second. Yeah, it was. Damien Malloy was on one of our videos and he said, hey Aaron, how about making a video, because I have asked you about what videos can we make during this covert crisis that we're in. And he said, how about making a video about Charlie? Well, after all, it is Charlie and me. On how he travels, how you secure him in the van. We have two dogs. One, the younger one, doesn't travel too well and the older one does. So I can't take the camper van for a spin, but what we will do is I'll show you from when we leave the house, strapping him up, strap him in the car, and we'll head out to the camper because I'd like to actually go out and check on it anyway. And I'll show you where we strap him in, and they were asking about food and washing and sleeping arrangements in the camper. So we'll start off by leaving the house into the car, and I'll show you how he travels in the car. Charlie, since we got him, I think we had to travel an hour and a half to get him. So from the day we got him, he's been traveling. And from when he was, I think we got him at about 8 or 10 weeks old. And then at 12 weeks old, when you can bring a dog out into the public and mix with other dogs, we went camping. We went down to the Glen of Aherlow. So he's been traveling ever since. He's not a great traveler. Motorways, he hates bridges. When he sees bridges, no matter what camper we're in or car we're in, he ducks when he sees bridges. He's very nervous about bridges. So he's not a brilliant traveller. Now in our last van, we made a seat in between the driver's seat and passenger seat so he could look out the windscreen. But he spent most of the time, even in France and in the UK, on Deirdre's lap. And she doesn't like that. Now he was secured, but it's not comfortable for Deirdre when we're travelling around France and England or wherever. And even at home in Ireland. In this camper van, we decided not to build a seat in the middle. Now the seat was just a piece of wood on 4 legs that we could move out of the way. We decided, no, he's going to get used to travelling. When Deirdre's not with us, which is a lot of the time when we go off to make videos, he sits up the front. And when she is with us, he sits down the back to disgust. Anyway, let's start by leaving the house, and we'll show you how we strap him up and we make our way out to the camper van. There'll be no road footage. Next time we talk to you after leaving the house, we'll possibly be in the car, and then after that, we'll be in the camper van. Okay. Charlie, we're going to go off the car? Yeah? Okay, let's get your harness. Come on. You ready? Come on. Now, when we get him in the car, and I take off this, we have this harness which goes into the seatbelt, and it fits, available in most good pet shop stores, and then that gets clipped on to here. Now when I travel with Charlie in the car, that's where he spends most of his time. When we're actually driving and we're clocking up a bit of speed, he spends most of his time sucking air out of this vent, but he's clipped in and he's not going anywhere. Okay, let's head off out to the shed. So Damien was also asking me before we get onto the seatbelts about Charlie's feeding. We have these 2 bowls, one water bowl and one food bowl. We're only out in the van. And he decided to have a feed. We carry his food in like a cornflake container, you know, the plastic ones that you can get. And I keep the container in under the seat beside the inverter. Sleeping wise, he tends to sleep in under the table. He has a bed, but I will be honest, Damien, 9 times out of 10, he jumps up in the bed with myself and Deirdre because it's a pretty big bed that we have in the van, and he tends to sleep in between the 2 of us down around our legs. 9 times out of 10. And as you see, it's a pretty big bed. Now, I go to bed first, so he always comes to bed with me. Then when Deirdre crawls in, he moves down the end, or as I say, sometimes he comes down here and he has a bed. There's 2 electric fires on at the moment. He has a bed there. Now, when we're traveling, and he's not going to show you now, I have another one of those seat belts that we carry. And it's actually hidden in here because he sits. Hang on, I'll see if I can find it now. When Deirdre's with me, I strap him in here, but I move this table over and he actually sits up on the table. Now I use some non-slip. You might have seen this. We put this down on the table and then I put a towel on top of that, so when I corner he doesn't slip, and he tends to like it up there. And the seatbelt is in there. Now this is a separate one to what we have, one in each of our cars. This one is just for the camper. It's got a different type of clip here. But when he's just me and him, that goes into the passenger seat and he spends most of his time sniffing on that vent there when we're traveling in the camper van. Now, you also asked me about washing. Charlie only really gets washed when he goes to the groomers. He doesn't like the washing. I've tried to sneak him into the shower at home. He likes to just clean himself. Now, if we're camping and he rolls in poop, which he has done, he will find the freshest cow pat or sheep poop in a field. If he does that, obviously he goes into the sea, or he gets a good showering in the shower here in the camper van. Again, it's a fight, but that's how we do it. And he has his own set of towels for when he does come in off the beach, and we give him a rub with those towels to keep them separate from ours. We keep towels on all of the seats because mucky dog on a wet day. I don't like seat covers, and all the seats are upholstered the same. So we keep a towel on every single seat. They're off now because obviously the camper's not being used. So this is probably only maybe the 2nd time that he's ever been on the actual seats. So let's recap. Food, we carry about a cornflake box full. Only at weekends. If we're going away longer, I would bring a bag of food with me, and it's stored in beside the inverter and where I keep my leads, which is under the seat that we're sitting on. He eats with us. He eats his own food. He'll have breakfast with us. He likes chicken, loves some of Deirdre's chicken. He has his own towels. Seatbelt, you've seen. He's strapped in all the time. And then when we're actually on campsite, because my pet hate is dogs being let loose, we have these 2 leads, which I actually strap to the step of the camper van, and then he has about 10 or 15 feet just to roam around, and he's tied up, not on his harness. I'll slip that onto his collar. He only has the harness on when we're traveling and when we're out walking. Illness, he's only got sick once in all the years we've had him while camping, and that was actually just before the lockdown. We went down to Ardmore for a weekend, and we went down late Friday night, and on Saturday morning he was vomiting. He had the runs and he was vomiting quite a lot. So by 4 o'clock I rang our vet, which is an hour and a half drive, and he said, look, get to me as quick as you can. We're here till 5. We were an hour and a half away. I drove this camper like it was a Formula 1 race car. 10 minutes from the vets, we were about 5:15. The vet then says, oh no, we're open till 6 because there's a lot of people here. So we got him. He just had a dicky tummy. So traveling in France, we were lucky. We got all the shots before we went. We got the shots because we came home to the UK. You have to get shots. I don't know how that is now with them leaving Europe, but we had to get shots in a vet's, I think 24, 48 hours before we came home because we drove home through the UK. If you're coming home from France directly into Ireland, I don't think you have to get those shots. But he was well shot. He was well covered. What else did you ask on your email? So traveling, yeah, he doesn't like traveling, as I said. Every bridge he ducks down, but he'll stay on that table. That harness won't allow him to fall off. If he's in the front seat, that harness has him secured, and you can shorten those harnesses as well if you want to really keep him in the seat. Sleeping, we covered. Feeding, we covered. And then, of course, he loves to walk. He loves to ramble. And Deirdre loves to walk him and ramble, and I like to sit and watch them walk and ramble. I think that's it. It's a pretty short one. Thanks for the question, Damien. All about Charlie, of Charlie and Me, our camping vlog. And I think we've covered anything. If I think of anything on the way back to base before we do the end on this, I'll put it in. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, it's charlie@aaronbirchall.com. We'll answer the questions. We're looking for ideas to keep the videos going during the lockdown, and we'll take your suggestions on board, and if we can do them, we'll do them. So from Charlie and me, from Charlie and me, our camping vlog, we'll see you all again very soon. Take care. Bye bye.